As parents, we want what's best for our children. But what does it mean to raise a child in this decade? We'll be looking at or exploring several allegories that provide insight on a parent's role in shaping the life of his child. Today, we'll be looking at the topic the birth of a new era, unraveling the parenting zeitgeist of this decade. Zeitgeist? What does that mean, you may be wondering? Oh, well, it means the spirit of an age or spirit of a time. It is a German term that talks about the political, the intellectual, the cultural climate in a particular period in history. But today we will not be having a history class, even though we'll be looking back to the past and see how it leads us to this present we currently are in. In the mid century, yeah, the zeitgeist was authoritarian parenting, though as I say without any questioning, and then that led us to the 60s and 70s, which gave rise to permissive parenting. And then on, we went to tough love parenting in the 70s and 80s. And then in the 90s, positive parenting became the order of the day. But then in the 2000s, there was a build up on positive parenting. There was more in the talks of respecting children, allowing them have a say in their own upbringing, and that has led us to the spirit of this time, which really boils down to emotional intelligence, EQ, mutual respect, and collaboration with the children you're raising. Now, no longer treating the children as objects or treating them as subordinates, but treating them as people who deserve to be worked with, who deserve to be communicated with, who deserve to be collaborated with. Okay, that's work with, who deserve to be treated with a lot of EQ, especially from your end as a parent. Meaning, parenting is more about you, first about you, than about the child. Who's the parent in the equation? You are the parent that is parenting a child. Now, what is the zeitgeist of this era, right? We've mentioned it is emotional intelligence, collaboration, and mutual respect. Now, how do we explore this concept or unravel or break down these concepts using allegories? The first one we mentioned is collaboration. Have you ever watched um, a horse race? The rider and the horse have to work in synergy to make sure that they win the competition, meaning that the competition will not hold, especially if one party maybe goes into the race. My mentor recently taught us something about the horse and its rider using the emotions, and he mentioned the story that went viral online about somebody whose horse left him behind, that got kicked off his horse, and then the horse went on to finish the race and came first, and then everybody was cheering, thinking that the team actually won the competition. It wasn't the case because the horse and the rider make a team, and they were meant to go on that journey together. So if the rider won or the horse by itself won, it means that none of them succeeded. They were both disqualified. The victory was foul, it was null and void. How do we relate that to parenting? Not just with our emotions. Let's leave emotions aside for a bit. Your child is like the horse in this equation, and you are the rider. Please, I'm saying this as an allegory. I'm not saying go and ride on your child like a horse. No, that's not what you're saying here. Now, how do you harness the skills, the talents, the temperaments, whatever unique traits that make that child who he or she is as the rider in this equation? How do you nurture that child? How do you identify it? Now, haven't identified those skills, how do you then build upon what they brought, what God has put in them? While it is popularly said that they came as a blank slate, I sometimes beg to differ, because a child comes with a preset temperament and gradually, okay, grows, and then the environment now shapes his environment, and a lot of things go on, but that doesn't make him blank. That doesn't make him any less an individual than you are. That doesn't mean you should now live your life through them. Do you understand? So, as much as the child is a child and is under your care, the onus is on you to find out what those preset temperaments are and whatever else God has equipped that child with to help him go on a journey on this earth, a journey to a serving purpose and fulfilling destiny. And the onus is on you to nurture the child mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, academically, and provide a very, very nurturing or flourishing environment for the child to thrive in. It is not enough to just maybe put the child in a very good school and assume that that's all there is to it. If the child comes back from school and the environment around that child is not conducive enough, I'm not saying in furnishing, maybe that's a part of it. Conducive enough? Is it peaceful enough? Is it Have you created a system wherein the child can express their emotions freely and be heard? Does the child even have a voice in your home? Or do you just yell or back out orders and expect the child to obey them just like that? So if your collaborative effort with your child will work just like the horse and its rider, you must be in synergy. You must work as a team. You must train in discipline. You must nurture your own self. Because remember, you are a team. It is not just enough for the horse to run fast. You, as the rider, must be able to control it. Do you understand? The stronger your horse is, the stronger you, as a rider, has to be. Now, I'm not saying be strong physically and exert the energy. I'm saying be strong mentally and be able to know how to work together with the child to make sure that you are getting the best out of the child at every single point in time. Remember, we are not called beacons, we're not called guiding lights for nothing. If your light is not clear enough, you cannot lead the way. If you're not even clear on the path, you won't even know what way you're leading. Number two is emotional intelligence. Now, the allegory we'll be exploring on this one is the coach and the athlete. If you do not know your athlete, for instance, you won't be able to know what his strengths or weaknesses are, what his days or moments or hours of peak performance are. You will not be able to train the athlete properly because you really do not know his specs or his specifications. Now, on your own as the trainer or as the coach, if you are not self-aware, you don't know yourself, your emotions are scattered about the place, you are bleeding on the athlete that didn't cut you, you're everywhere, you lose your temper quickly, you are very incorrigible and intolerable. You would miss it really. You wouldn't be able to give your best as a coach, correct? If you're not self-motivated, how will you motivate someone when you're not giving the energy you want to get from the person? I believe energy bounces back right at you. If you give positive energy, you're getting it right back. It's like a mirror effect. Yeah, a mirror effect. It comes right back at you. So if you're not self motivated, how will you motivate the athlete to give in his very best, the best you know he's capable of? Another thing is, if you are not socially aware, if you're not self regulated, if you're not big on building relationships or know anything about relationship management, how will you be able to guide this athlete? Because you cannot work in isolation. He has to have a functioning relationship with other athletes, and you also have to have a functioning relationship with other coaches, because no man can function on his own, right? A tree doesn't make a forest. So you see, this alludes to parenting, because if as the coach you do not know the child, you're not aware of your own emotions, you do not know the child enough to know when he's down, to know when he's high, like emotionally okay, like to know when he's very happy, to know when he's very motivated, how will he be able to teach that child well? So, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, social awareness, and relationship management from your end as a parent will help you better equip your child for this journey. Because the more you're building up your EQ skills, the more you'll be able to build up on their own too. Remember, we always say on this channel, monkey sees, monkey does. If throwing tantrums is the way you handle situations, trust me, your child will definitely borrow a leaf from that your playbook. If yelling is how you get people to fall in alignment and do what you want them to do, then your child is definitely going to be a yeller. If lack of motivation, if depression is all you go through your days with, trust me, they are learning, they are watching you very closely, they are observing you, and definitely they are going to imitate you. Don't get it twisted at all. You may think that you are young, but they know when mommy is happy, they know when daddy is very, very excited. They feel these emotions themselves, even if maybe some of them are too young to name them or identify how they feel. Excuse me. They actually feel these things. So don't don't lose sight of that at all. It's okay. While it's okay to, I tell my children, it is okay to feel any way. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to be anxious. It is okay to be scared. But it is definitely not okay to stay that way. A lot of us just get into a certain negative emotion and allow ourselves dwell in there, allow ourselves stew in it. It's not like we do not know what to do. It's not like we do not have the tools at our disposal. It's not like we do not have the people around us to help us maybe feel better. It's just as if we're comfortable being in there, just wallowing in that, should I say, in that environment, because it's a part of least resistance, right? It is very easy to just stay sad. What's not easy is keeping yourself happy against all odds, watching around, looking around you and saying that, okay, I am feeling this way, let me do something about it. Negativity is very easy. It is staying positive that requires a lot of effort, that requires that you maybe change your playlist, maybe change your circle of influence, maybe change the people, the things you are listening to. Like my mentor always says, your mind is like a transistor radio. You just need to switch to the channel you want to listen to. What channel are you currently vibrating in, and how would you switch it to another channel that you would prefer? But it's okay to just lay in bed and just say, you know what, let me just be in here. You're now forgetting that this inaction in itself is having an adverse effect on your athletes, because you are not in the right frame of mind to actually deliver on excellence when you are not motivated yourself. So your EQ skills play a vital role in your responsibility as a beacon or as a shapener in your child's life. The next one is mutual respect and understanding. And the allegory we'll be exploring on this one is the conductor and the orchestra. Have you ever watched a presentation? Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. That just came to my head right now. Sorry, I could be very playful. Okay, you see everybody working together in such harmony. It's so beautiful. You're just there. Sometimes they're beautifully dressed, maybe in the same color, and then it's such a sight to behold. But what you do not see is the number of hours that it took the conductor to get everyone to fall in alignment into their roles they are meant to perform to make that show a beautiful one. How he has been able to manage his own emotions and manage the emotion of every member of that group. Remember, if that orchestra is made up of 10 people, the 10 members of that group have maybe 10 families, they have their own challenges, they have their own emotional stress or psychological stress or things that are going on in their lives that they need to manage. Sometimes it is very easy to say, leave whatever you're feeling out of the door when you're coming in, but sometimes we actually come into practice or into where we're going with these emotions. The conductor is able to manage himself and then manage these people for a long period of time, however it takes for them to practice that song or that presentation. And then when you come, what do you do after that presentation? You cheer, you give them a round of applause, you're happy, it makes you really happy. Now, as a parent, you need to be able to understand every member of your orchestra and be able to compose and comport and conduct yourself well so that you will be able to manage them better so that you'll be able to bring out of them a presentation that is worthy of a golden buzzer. Oh, a standing ovation. You get the drift, correct? The next one is persistence and determination. And we'll be looking at the allegory of a chef and his recipe. Have you ever been to maybe a five-star restaurant? Have you ever had a 6 or 7 course meal? You come and see maybe the plating, the art, the artistry on that plate. It's something you've eaten before. For some of you who are not daring, who do not allow your palate go on adventures, it's something you may have experienced as a person before. How about this chef has taken it to a whole new level? He has plated it in such a way that your eyes have seen the plate, your nose has smelt the aroma. Oh my God, your mouth cannot wait to taste that beautiful masterpiece before you. The first course comes and the entree comes in and then you're blown away. The next one comes, oh my God, you bring out your phone, you can't stop taking pictures or making videos. Guess what? At the end of the seventh course, or maybe when you're taking your dessert, what happens? You're not just satisfied, like your stomach is not just full. There's this feeling of satisfaction. No matter how much you paid for that experience, is totally worth it for you. Why? Because the chef mastered his art and gave you a mind-blowing experience. Excellent experience. And what happens? You want to bring out your wallet and give maybe $100 as a tip. But what you fail to see in that moment, to realize in that moment, is the hours and hours or weeks or months it took that chef to master whatever ingredients that made it to the list of to the list of all the courses on that was put before you on that table. The sweat, the blood, the tears, the time, the energy, the attention, and then the talent, the resources it took him. Because he may have gone to a culinary school, he had to go and learn from the best chef in the world. He may have watched a lot of videos. He may have gone to a lot of restaurants to also experience service from other people, just so he could fine tune his art. So, as parents, what books are you reading? What courses are you taking? What people, who are the people who are getting it right with their parenting that you're modeling after? What community are you following that are doing the right thing, at least according to what you want to see in your children as a parent? Are you working alone? Are you trying to swing it all by yourself? You won't go far doing that because your knowledge, no matter how much it is, it's still going to be limited. There has to be something more. There has to be something new. You get to learn from someone else that is doing exactly that is currently doing better than you. How would you know if you do not read that book? How would you know if you do not take that course? How would you know if you do not visit with other people? If you do not explore around you? You see, like the chef and his recipe, like it took him a lot of years, a lot of effort to perfect that presentation. It is going to take you a lot to get your children to that finesse that would make people, that will make you remember we're using allegories. We don't mean this like maybe literally reading, sorry, we don't mean this literally. You are going to have to put in a lot behind the scene so that your children, when they are presented to their world, will be deserving of a standing ovation. And and then will somebody tip you? Let me even ask you now, for the quality or caliber of children you are raising, can somebody say, hey girl, hey young man, well done? Can someone tip you for the arrogance your child displayed last week? Can someone tip you for the way they rudely spoke to the lady at the reception just because they are paying maybe a few bucks here and there for a service? Can someone tip you for the way your children hop around with no manners, we go about the place, don't know how to greet, don't know how to curtsy, don't know how to comport themselves, don't know how to carry themselves? Can someone actually tip you and say well done for the job you're doing right now? Now, remember, every time we have these sessions here on the Lorry brand, it is not meant to make you feel bad, like feel terrible or start feeling like a failure. Yeah, it is okay in that moment to feel bad because you're not doing something right. But it's not okay to stay feeling that way because we also give you tips to help you do better, right? So after each session, take notes. What am I not doing well now? What can I begin to do better to make me a better person than I was before I watched the video? From all we have said about collaboration, emotional intelligence, and persistence and determination, and mutual respect and understanding, how do you begin to master the zeitgeist of this decade? How do you begin to take things further? How do you begin to go from where you are to where you want to be or where you ought to be as a parent? Because it is not just enough to say I want to be this kind of parent. Meanwhile, there are people who are going out of their way to raise global players, captains of industry, industries, captains of industries, world disruptors, people who were blessed with genius and are raising genius. So you look around, like I said, go around, visit people, take you look, just look around, observe and see, is what I am doing currently enough? Am I raising global players? Can my child go to maybe the United States of America and compete favorably intellectually, mentally, academically, and otherwise with a child their age or maybe a bit older? Stop raising children for in your house, for your bedroom. Raise children who will be solution providers to the world at large. So how do you master the zeitgeist of this decade? Number one, you must be focused. A lot of us set goals at the beginning of this year, and it's the first month of the second quarter, and those goals are nowhere to be found. Number one, some of us did not even write them down, so we may have forgotten things, may have acted on our thought patterns, and we cannot even remember anymore. Focus. Your goals must be written down, a plan for their achievement must be written down, and you must be committed to achieving those goals. Do you have an accountability system that would ensure that you stay on course to achieving those goals? Is there a time frame? Are they measurable? Now we have a video on goal setting on this channel. Just search around and then you can be abreast with all the details. Number two would be take charge of social media. This brings us to the whole charade about social media. Now, some people just because they can click record on their phones or on their cameras, and then because anyone can have a channel or open an Instagram or Twitter account, they post what they think, their own thoughts, from their own experiences, from whatever past they are coming from. And then they impress those thoughts upon your mind, whether they are positive or negative, to decide if those thoughts are in alignment with your goals for your family. It is not it is not going to be nice if you're caught in the social media echo chamber. What does that mean? Confirmation bias. We are always drawn towards what we currently think about or believe. That brings us to the RAS, the retina articulating system that isolates everything you are thinking about. Now, remember, I don't know if you've noticed, many times you're thinking about a red car, all you see is a red car. Every time you're thinking about a pink dress, it's like everybody around you is now wearing pink dresses. Now, it's not like they just started wearing pink dresses. They always have been wearing pink dresses, but it wasn't in your radar then because the brain gets a lot of information every single second of every day. It cannot put everything in your attention because you'll be moving mad, right? So you get to now see these things you are now focusing on. You get to see more of them everywhere, at every turn, at every corner, because that is what your mind is currently thinking about. So the social media echo chamber simply will be bouncing back at you what you're currently thinking about. So if you're thinking very negatively, everything you'll be seeing on social media for that period will be in alignment with your thoughts. The mind is very powerful. If you can use it positively, it can be a master, it can be a very good servant, but a very destructive master, depending on how well you harness it. But we'll be talking about that in maybe another video, maybe sometime in the future. But then, how are you able to manage your social media? Are you allowing it to control you? Or are you being controlled by it? Are you allowing it dictate how you run your empire or run your family? Are you allowing the thoughts of the uncouth and unsophisticated thought of a mediocre mind from somewhere come and mess up with your mind? A mind, think and grow rich. I think Napoleon Hill mentioned that the person that can succeed has to have a mind that is immune that is blinded to the possibility of failure and is immune to all negative influences. Are you blown hither thither by everything you hear on social media? Some of us make a very very long term decisions based on maybe one post from one person that is unfounded, or that is currently going through his wilderness experience or something in his life. He comes and he puts something on social media, and you run dilly dally and you adopt it as your system. Who are you following? What are you listening to? What are you hearing? How is it impacting your mind first as a parent? And how is that impact rubbing off on your family at large? The next one will be deliberate and intentional. We can never say that enough. Never. Intentionality will mean that I am no longer going to follow this person because it makes me feel a certain way. Intentionality may mean I am no longer going to listen to this person because each time I listen to him, I get scared. I get afraid. Intentionality may mean I'm going to commit to teaching my children A, B, C, or Z maybe every Monday or every Tuesday. And then you persistently live up to that goal. Intentionality may mean I am going to reparent myself. I am going to work hard at healing from my childhood trauma so that I will stop bleeding on my children, so that I will stop transferring aggression, so that I will start parenting them with more love, with more patience, with more calm. Now, when we talk about excellence in parenting, we're not saying that you're flawless. We're not saying that you need to be perfect. We're just saying that every single day you're putting in efforts to be a better person than you were the day before that. Meaning today you put in 1%, tomorrow you put in 1%, atomic habits, and then using compound effect over time, these habits become significant because time must happen on the the minute nature of them, or consistency has made them major in the long scheme of things. So, how are you going to start today to be intentional and deliberate about raising your parents right? The last one is going to be goal oriented. What are your goals, your parenting goals for 2023? What do you set out to do better this year? Did you take inventory of 2022 and you said, okay, in this area, in that area, in this area, in that area, I need to do better? What were the goals you set? How far have you gone with them? Which ones have you measured? What were the tools you used to measure? And where are you on those goals currently? Now, your child that was born in January is already a year older. The one that was born in February, the same thing. March, and then April ends in a few days, meaning if you had a kid or two in April, maybe he or she or them is or are older now. May will soon happen, and then that child will be a year older. What has that child learned differently? Not academics. The thing a lot of us as Nigerian parents do is we call it good schools, put our children in good schools, and then we expect that the schools will teach them manners, the school will teach them how to behave, the schools will teach them executive functioning skills, the schools will teach them to believe in God more, to love him more, do the right thing. We fail to understand that the academics only from one part of a child's life. There's the emotional, there's the psychological, there are a lot of areas, the physical too. The school will not take care of all those for you. And some parents also go as far as to, okay, you've paid for a good school, you now employ a nanny, and then you go about your work. Once you've provided the finances, everything else follows. I'm sorry if this makes you feel bad, but it's only a king that can teach the ways of a kingdom to his child. However good your caregiver is, however intelligent, however educated they are, they don't see the vision as clearly as you do. The vision was not given to them. They are meant to help in the process, not to champion the cause. They are meant to help the team, not to head it. Meaning, in your absence, yes, maybe they are able to follow your rules to the letter, but there are some teachable moments that only you can truly explore or use very well that you are missing. I can't emphasize it enough how important for you as a parent to be present, to be active, and for you to be listening. I get it. It is very easy for us to be carried away by the toils of our and then the hustle and bustle of our everyday lives, by trying to build our careers, by trying to make ends meet. We are always caught between trying to create the work and the life balance, which really doesn't exist. It doesn't. I'm sorry, it's coming as a shock to you, but you can only balance off two things that are of the same weight. If I put 50 kg here and I put 30 kg here, how on earth will I expect them to balance? Meaning you have to take inventory of your journey, take stock of your journey as a parent, and maybe speak up, be truthful to yourself, and decide what is essential to your journey at that time. If you're raising little children that require your attention, will it be a good time to go on that work trip? I'm not saying don't go, and I'm not saying go. I'm just saying think about it, because you have a phenomenal mind that can think upon things. So think about it. Now, if you have a child who is 18, or he's 15, or he's 10, that can at least look at after him or herself to a large extent, can you go on that work trip? You see, it is the same child, but at different times in their lives or your lives. So take inventory. What is essential to you? What is essential to your family at that time? Set goals, measurable goals, goals that are SMART, SMERT. I don't want to make this video too long, so I won't be going into that. Like I said before, there's a video already on this channel. Go get it and see how you can work out a goal. It's never too late. Like we say in Nigeria, and at the time when you wake up, they greet good morning. So if I woke up at 6 and you woke up at 11 a.m., you still greet me good morning, even if I woke up 5 hours earlier than you. So wake up today and begin to master the zeitgeist of this era, because it is no longer an excuse that people know that I am like this. I almost forgot about the cultural kaleidoscope. As big as the word sounds, some people just feel like everything is just going on randomly. This person comes and he says this, and that person comes and he says that. It's like a confusion. You're asking yourself, okay, where do I even come in? Or what do I even begin to do better? The culture is trying to show you something different. Remember, please, that the Holy Book admonishes us that you should not be conformed to the standards of this world, rather be transformed by the renewing of your mind. How do you renew your mind if you are caught in the social media echo chamber? How do you renew your mind if you do not read books? I don't know how to read. Everybody around me knows that I don't know how to read. Congratulations. I hope that will help you be a better parent. I hope that is an advantage to your children, because someone somewhere is reading a lot of books in a year just to be a better parent. Someone somewhere is taking a lot of courses, is investing heavily in making sure that he or she is not raising children that are a certain way. So your children are going to get into the world with these other children. Please help me make sense of it. Will they thrive? Will the competition be to your own advantage, the advantage of your children? Are you going to be an advantage to these children, or you're going to be a disadvantage? Remember, yeah, the lorry brand. All we do is help you think. Think critically, because you have a mind that is phenomenal, because it was made from the image and likeness of God, correct? Meaning you can create the life that you want. Meaning you can begin now to create the kind of children you want. Sorry, you can't have my kids as much as I cannot have yours. But you can begin to design, and you can begin to observe, okay, what traits do they have that need correction? Like an athlete, like a coach and the athlete, like the horse rider and the horse, like the conductor and the orchestra, like a chef with his recipe. You can create the life that you want by being disciplined, by being focused, by working on your EQ skills, by taking charge of your use of social media, and by being deliberate and intentional. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, kindly share with your friends and loved ones. Don't hide us. Don't keep us under the table. Don't make us your best kept secret. Thank you so much for sticking to the end. Thank you so much for always watching our videos here on the Lorry Brand. We appreciate you. We are cheering for you. We believe in you. And God bless you.